Hi guys, it's me happycat, and today I want to talk about fat. Now everyone is always trying to get rid of fat and they want to shed the pounds, but how much do you actually know about fat? So in today's video I'll be giving you some top facts about fat. Just a quick disclaimer, I am not an expert in fat at all. This is just from hours of research on my part. So fact number one, there is actually many different types of fat. There is saturated, there is trans, there is monounsaturated and polyunsaturated fats. I know this is super confusing, but let me try to break this down. So monounsaturated and polyunsaturated fats are really good for you and good for your health. An example of where you can find these fats are olives, fish, oil, nuts, seeds, that sort of thing. So saturated fats usually come from animals, so you get like milk, cheese, meat, creams and butter. And saturated fats are also good for you in moderation. Now trans fats are the ones you want to avoid. Trans fats are really bad for you. So trans fat is processed saturated fat. It is when saturated fat goes into a lab and gets processed to be made into things like cakes, cookies, deep fried food, cakes, pastry, etc. So my fact number two is that all fats are good for you except from trans fats. Monounsaturated fats and polyunsaturated fats in particular are actually so good for your heart, and they also lower cholesterol and just keeps general good heart health. So your brain is also 60% fat, so these healthy fats are vital for brain function. Also, studies have shown that people who eat the healthy fats actually have a better performing brain and actually are smarter as a result. Your body doesn't produce polyunsaturated fats, so it completely relies on you to eat it in order to get the benefits. Trans fat actually has the opposite effect. It actually increases the chance of heart disease and raises cholesterol, so stay away from trans fats. So my fact number three is visceral fat. Visceral fat is the type of fat that lives inside the human body. It is normal to have some visceral fat around your organs as it helps protect and cushions them. However, if you're even slightly overweight, these can end up pressing against your organs. This can result in your organs becoming inflamed. Even though when your organs are inflamed, you can't really feel it or you don't notice it, this does happen and is very harmful to your body. So my fact number four is that visceral fat is very bad for your body and can lead to a number of health problems. Especially the fat round your belly, that is the worst type of visceral fat you can get. Visceral fat can interfere with the production of things like insulin and as a result can cause diabetes. So the other known problems to be associated with visceral fat can be heart disease, stroke, cancer, and even erectile dysfunction. But before everyone gets too upset, my fact number five is that visceral fat is super easy to get rid of. When you're in the process, when you start to lose weight, visceral fat is the first fat to go. Your body automatically wants to get rid of this fat as it is the most dangerous fat. Studies have shown for every 10% of all body fat that you lose, you actually lose 30% visceral fat. So this is great news. So it's very easy to turn this around and it's never too late to start. So my fact number six is about fat cells. Now, after doing all this research, I noticed that this subject is very conflicted, but I found an overall thing that most people agree with. So this is my fact number six on fat cells. You're born with a set amount of fat cells, and you actually have more fat cells when you're born than you do of every single human on planet Earth. That's a huge amount of fat cells. However, if you get overweight in childhood or in your teens, you will actually increase the amount of fat cells that you have in your body. Now, the conflicting argument I've come across is whether you get extra fat cells when you're an adult. Well, what I found is you don't actually get more fat cells when you're an adult. All your fat cells you get is from childhood and from when you're a teenager. As soon as you're in your early 20s, the fat cell production stops. That's why if you're overweight as a child or a teenager, it's actually really hard to keep the weight off when you're an adult. However, some scientists have found that you do actually get an increased amount of fat cells in your thighs when you're an adult, but they're not quite sure why this happens. But everywhere else, like your body and your belly and that, you don't actually gain any more fat cells when you're an adult. So when you gain weight, the fat cells just expand, and when you lose weight, all they do is shrink. They don't disappear, they're always there. That's why if you're big and lose weight, it's harder to maintain it and to keep it off, just because it's so easy. Like, your fat cells are trained to expand really quickly. But it's not impossible, as loads of people have lost weight and maintained it, but you might just have to work a bit harder than someone else. However, if you've lost loads of weight and you are worried about fat cells, the only proven way you can actually get rid of fat cells for good is liposuction. However, it's not necessary to have liposuction, and it doesn't really make any difference one way or another. But liposuction is the only proven way to get rid of fat cells. And my last fact number 7, is don't be discouraged if you only lose a pound, because a pound of fat is huge. Here is what a pound of fat looks like. And yes, this is actually what human fat looks like. Also, doctors have described the feeling of fat to be like butter. It is like pure fat. So every time you lose a pound of fat, it will look like this. So even though you might not feel it or see it, do not get discouraged if you only lose a pound. It's fine. Like, a pound is so good. And don't forget, that's going to come off your visceral fat, which is the most important fat. So every pound you lose will be doing so much good for your body. So that is what a pound of fat looks like. Now, what does 5 pounds of fat looks like? This is how much fat 5 pounds looks like. It is a huge amount, and yes, it really is that big. There's no exaggeration. That is a model of exactly what 5 pounds of human fat looks like. So I hope you guys never get discouraged again if you're trying to lose weight and you feel like it's been a bad week because you've only lost a pound, because seriously, you're doing so much good for your body. So that was my top 7 tips about fat. But if you guys are interested in some of the things I've discovered, I'll put as many links down as I can in the description, including some health experts on YouTube that I found, and also some documentation online that I came across. So thank you so much for watching. I hope this was educational and that you've learnt something new today. And if you did find this video helpful, then give it a big thumbs up. So don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, because not only am I doing a weight loss journey of my own, I will also be doing factual videos like this every single week. And until next time, bye!